What's good, y'all? This is Trey coming to you with this quick video. I got my boy Devonte here, who is doing a testimonial for me. He was basically one of my friends from high school who was one of the only ones who consistently came out with me when I used to go out and cold approach girls. So he knows about the reality of this. He knows about the rejection, he knows about the success. And like myself, he was able to go from being shy, from being afraid to talk to girls, from not getting the results he wants with girls, to being able to approach girls with confidence, to being able to get phone numbers, and to being able to get dates, and ultimately improve his dating life. So, Devonte, the first question I got for you, bro, is what made you decide to start coming out with me when I used to go out and approach girls? What made you decide to come out with me? Because you could have just stayed home, you could have played video games, you could have did whatever you wanted to do, but you decided to come out with me. So what made you decide to do that?
Um, basically, I was always interested in getting girls, and when I was younger, growing up, my parents never really let me go outside or anything like that. So I never really had a situation where I could really interact with people or interact with girls. And I guess throughout my whole middle school to high school year, well, basically my whole school life, like I never really, I always fantasized about talking, messing with girls or talking to girls or approaching a girl, but I never really had a chance to. And after I graduated, I went to Valencia College with Trayvon Morgan, and I noticed that he every day, like even though he was going to school and he was doing his studies and stuff like that, after class he would like practice on approaching women and stuff like that. And like he had caught my interest with that, so I started like hanging out with him, and I started like participating in that. And at first, um, I said like, how did you build the confidence to talk to females? And he said that every day he would just keep on approaching. Like it wasn't easy at first for him, but um, he said that he knew that if he just kept on being consistent, that eventually he would grasp like how to be able to do it. So I said, "Oh, I just went along with him. I just started like doing it with him every day." And at first, he used to like point out to me to go we would play like a game, like we'll point out a girl or something like that, basically. And he would point one out, and I thought that would be as easy for me to just go up to the girl, but I noticed that I was shy, and I found myself at the beginning always making a lot of excuses. And I would just tell him, I would point one out for him, and I would notice that he would actually go up to the girl, but that's because he was doing it a little bit way before me. And after a while, I guess after coming out days after days, I still kept on making excuses, but little by little, I found myself actually starting to approach the girls. And when I approached the girls, I realized like, especially like let's say if I approached a girl for the first, like my first one for the day, like I would realize that it wasn't really that bad. Like I would notice that it wasn't really that hard, it wasn't that bad. And after you do like your first one, you realize that it's easier to do the second one. And then when you do the second one, the third one, and etc., like you can keep on going. So I get me and Trey have been doing this for like the last couple years, and over time I realized that I've gotten even more better and more confident with approaching females. And the next thing I also realized in the journey of like approaching females is that um, it really wasn't always about looks. Like people always say that like your looks matter and stuff like that, but I realized it wasn't about looks, because even though like I'm a pretty attractive guy, even though I realized I went up to females, like the females still like I still got rejected left and right. But I realized that the more consistent I kept on being with it, the more I knew what to say or what not to say the next time. And it really all just came down to being consistent with it really all just came down to being consistent with just keep on doing it every day. And pretty much it just comes down to being like, as they say, being consistent with anything. Like you could basically, you're gonna become good at it as long as you keep practicing. Just like if you want to be good at basketball or something like that, be good at whatever, you just keep on being consistent. So over the years of just constantly approaching women, I got better and better. And I even like sometimes I even start going to the club, and it was a different environment, but basically the same concept. I just kept on approaching women, and I pretty much got that from there. I just got really good at it. Now I can approach women now with no issue. It's not really much of a big deal. I mean, everybody's not perfect. You still, sometimes I'll have those times where, I'll randomly feel a little shy, but I still basically approach a woman, and if I get rejected, I do, or if I don't, then I don't. But that's all part of the whole dating situation, is that you're gonna get rejected sometimes. So you guys can't be afraid of that.
Yeah. So one thing I want to ask you is, when we just started going out and approaching girls, what would you say, what would you say was the biggest challenge or the biggest hurdle you had to get over when we just started? Like, what was, because you said it at first, it was hard for you to approach and stuff like that. So, what was that hurdle? Like, what did you have to overcome?
I guess if I want to say one of the things I had to overcome, it would be the fear of rejection, of being rejected by a female, or thinking that I'm not good enough, or that the girl's too out of my league.
Mhm. So, how did you overcome that?
Um, I, Basically, I just I guess I just had random moments where I just like took the leap of faith, and I just said, you know what, Trayvon's doing it, and he's been in the same position as me, and if he could do it, I could do it too. So I guess just watching him doing and seeing that he's being consistent with it, or you being consistent with it, it motivate me to just keep on just approaching women until I overcame that fear.
Mhm. Got you. And then you brought up the whole looks thing, because that, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's something that a lot of guys will say, oh, it's all about looks. If you're good looking, you can get all the girls. And I know firsthand, because we're really cool. I know that when you just started, you weren't getting girls like that. Like, yeah, you would get their attention, but you weren't able to keep their attention because whether you're lacking confidence or feeling insecure, stuff like that. So what would you say to people who are saying that, oh, it's all about looks, as long as you're good looking you could get all the girls? Like, is that true? Like, or what is your perspective on that?
I would definitely say that that's false. Like, it's not all about looks. Like, the only thing I can say looks would do for you is that looks will probably get your foot in the door, but at the end of the day, it really all comes down to like your game, like what you say to the female, your confidence. Because women, like, they can smell you right away. Like, if you don't have confidence, like they just know that you don't have confidence. But it all really just comes down to the confidence you have, and it really all just comes down to the approach. Looks, at the end of the day, the only thing, as I said earlier, is that looks is just gonna, it's just probably gonna get your foot in the door sometimes, but sometimes even at that the looks still don't work for you.
Mhm.
That I learned that for myself as I did it with Trey over the years. So
One question I want to ask you, bruh, is from your perspective, um, because
mm,
um, in the beginning, like when we used to go out and approach girls, you used to see me approach them, you used to see me get phone numbers and stuff like that, right? But what would you say was my quality, or what was I doing right that was getting me numbers? Because for me, um, I mean, I look decent, but I'm not like super good looking or anything like that.
yeah.
I'm not like swimming in dough. I'm not like super rich. I'm not, famous. What would you say? What did you notice from me when I would approach girls? Like, what do you think was getting was creating attraction? Like, what was I doing correctly? What would you say is like, oh, that's for sure you were doing that right, or that's why you're getting the girls? From your perspective, what would you say?
I personally believe like it was really I believe that like the way how Trey like he approached the women, like he it was just basically, it was really just his confidence. Like he just went up there like if it was like a normal day thing, like it was second nature to him. So it was really just the confidence that I seen in him every time he approached the women, and I realized that that was actually really working for him. Like, and that's what I learned. That's why I learned from you when I saw you doing that. Is that when you were going up to the women, it was really just about being confident and just like just accepting the fact that if you get a rejection, you get a rejection. And I would just, if anything, I would, what would help me with the rejections is basically sometimes I would, my mission, if I was to go up to a female, I would be like, you know what, I want to get rejected today. Like sometimes you guys, if you guys want to do like reverse psychology on yourself, like instead of being afraid of being rejected, just go up, approach the woman with like just saying your mission is to get rejected. So that way, if you get rejected, it's like, you just brush it off. But if you don't get rejected, then you just keep being confident, you keep talking to her. At the end of the day, like it's just all the numbers game. Like there's gonna be some people that's gonna say yes, there's some people that's gonna say no. And that's basically what I learned from watching Trey approach women.
Um, Another thing that I want to touch on is a mindset. Would you say that mindset plays a big part in your success with approaching women?
Yeah, that plays a huge part in your success with women, because I guess like when it comes to your mindset, if you like say for example, sometimes like you want to do an approach and you're about to go up to a girl or a woman or whatever. If you already start telling yourself that you're gonna get rejected, or she's not gonna be into me or anything like that, it's basically like a type of like manifestation. Like if you manifest that, you already start manifesting that in your mind. So you already start building fear on yourself. But instead, if you just see somebody you want to approach them, I just feel like you shouldn't even think about anything. If you just see her, you want to approach, you just go straight for it. And whatever happens after that just happens. But if you guys just sit there and you just keep on thinking about it, the more you think about it, the more your mind is going to convince you to not want to do it. So that's the next key factor that can actually help you guys out. Like if you guys just don't think about it and just go straight for it, just do it, there's a very high chance that, and just go with confidence, there's a very high chance that the woman or the girl is going to say yes to you, or because she's going to feel your confidence.
Mhm. What would you say, like how valuable is having the ability to go and approach a woman you find attractive with confidence? Like how valuable has that been to you, being able to see a girl you find attractive and being able to approach her, as opposed to just waiting or hoping to get lucky on a dating app or whatever? Like how valuable has being able to approach girls been in your life?
I would say the value that I get out of approaching women or approaching girls is that um, you're more like, it gives you more of a higher chance for you to get the girl that you want. Like instead of you just like waiting around and going on dating sites and stuff like that and being shy, and most likely you're always probably going to end up not getting the type of girl that you want. So most of these men, when you see them out here, the reason why they get the type of girl that they want is probably because they approached them, like they actually went for the girl that they want. And I mean, most likely, if you that will basically make you, I mean, if you get the girl you want, of course, obviously you're going to be really happy about that. But if you get the girl that you don't want, you're just settling for less. So at the end of the day, you never really want to settle for less. The perk of approaching women that I've learned personally for myself is that I realized that I get more of the type of girls that I want out of basically approaching the women.
So another thing I want to get your perspective on is um, going out and developing this skill or this ability to approach women in a confident manner, doing it on your own versus getting help. So let's paint this picture. Imagine you never met me, and you would have had to go out on your own and approach girls and work on that confidence on your own. like, how big of a difference do you think it would have been? Like, would you say if someone had the opportunity to basically work with me, or we go out together and approach women, would you say that's a lot, very valuable versus going out by yourself? Like, what would you say is the difference between the two?
I feel like trying it on your own, especially when it's a new experience to you and it's something that you're trying to get over, or it's a like, I feel like it's possible that you could do it by yourself. But I think for me, what I've like got from you is that doing it with a person that already has a little experience in doing it, it kind of helps out because it allows you to be able to see like the outcome of the situation. You get to see what happens and what's possible. Or also, let's say if you do it by yourself, I don't know, when you do it with a person that's experienced in it, it allows you to see that it's maybe not even as bad as you think it is to approach the women. You by yourself, you might be overthinking it, and you might never even do it for all we know. So, I mean, the value I got out of doing it with Trey is that I got to see what kind of approaches or what skills or what tactics did he use to approach the woman, and it helped motivate me to. I mean, it gave me one of those things where I can actually grab some stuff off of him and just try it myself and like mix it up in my own kind of way. So I would say it's really beneficial actually, having somebody that has experience show you the way or show you how to do it.
Mhm. So I guess one of the last things I want to ask you is, can you give a clear picture to guys so they understand, like, because obviously, I'm really passionate about this stuff. That's why I make all these videos and put out all this content. But can you give them an idea of what your situation was like before you started going and approaching girls and working on your dating life, hitting the club, really putting yourself out there? Like, what was your situation before that? And what is your situation now in regards to your dating life and your experiences with women? Like, paint that picture so they know what is possible. You know what I mean?
Well, I would say before I went out with Trey or even went out and started approaching women and stuff like that, I didn't I didn't know how to approach a girl like really. As I mean, I did approach girls, but I didn't really know how to approach a girl really as much. I was too scared and I had way too much fear, and I just saw everybody else had like a girlfriend, and I would always wish that I could do that, but I never ever really attempted it. But then now after going out with Trey, going up to women and you know just being consistent with it, doing it every day, and trying it in different places like Walmart, Publix. We used to go to school campuses and stuff like that. You can basically it's going to show that you can do it anywhere. Um, Now I realize like I can basically like get a girl anytime like I want at this point. Like let's say even the reason why some guys when they go into a breakup, they get terrified and they like beg for the girlfriend that they have right now, or they want them back and stuff like that. The only reason they're acting like that is because they don't have confidence that they can go up to a girl, because they never really did that before. That girl that they had was probably just like a random thing, just like how when we were saying earlier that the girl just came about in your life and that became your girl, whatever. But the only reason you might be just begging for that girl back or find yourself doing something stupid like that is because you just don't have confidence in yourself, or you can't see yourself just going up to a girl and trying to get a next girl or anything like that. But the benefits of being able to go up to a girl or approach a girl in a cold approach is that you any moment you feel like you want to get a girl, you're not saying that you can go and just get them just like that, but basically you have a high chance because you already know how to go up to females, talk to them, approach them, and have that confidence. So you have a very high chance at like any moment right now, like you could just get up and just say, yo, I want to go get a girl, or I want to meet somebody or something. That you could just do it like that. Now, look, I could do it now, just like it's second nature, because I've been doing it with Trey for the couple of years or months. So that's pretty much that would be the benefit I would say now for me, now looking from before and after. Now I can actually approach women without it being an issue.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Cool, brother. So I appreciate you coming on doing this testimonial video. I guess the last question I would ask you is, if someone is struggling in their dating life and they're afraid to approach girls, and they're just underachieving in their dating life, they feel lonely, they feel miserable, would you recommend that they work with me one-on-one so they can handle their dating life once and for all and finally be happy and finally find the one, or find just abundance, have that abundance of women that they can meet, like finally have the confidence to handle their dating life? Would you recommend?
Yeah, I most definitely would recommend Trey. Like with Trey, I mean, honestly, he has the confidence, he has the skill, and I mean, working with him, I've gained that off of him. So I definitely do recommend Trey Morgan's coachings and his teachings and his ways of how to go about it, approaching women.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. All right, fellas, thanks for watching this presentation. Thank you, Devonte, for coming on doing this video, and I will see y'all in the next videos. Peace.